Clear signal. Like if you've seen the truth. Subscribe or stay in the dark.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Clear Signal. We are back with some unknown or little known history. I've been looking into historically proven government propaganda and asking myself, how did we get to the point where we distrust the very agencies put into place to protect us? And boy, did I find some interesting events in the past. Imagine FBI secretly forging letters, planting fake news stories, and trying to drive civil rights leaders into ending their own lives. All of this right here in America. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's COINTELPRO, the FBI's counterintelligence program from 1956 to 1971. Now, most of us have heard of the term COINTELPRO, but few of us actually know what it means and how it was actually used. Today, we're looking at the proven facts, the Idaho senator who exposed it, and why this history explains so much of today's deep trust in the intelligence communities. So, what was COINTELPRO? J. Edgar Hoover created COINTELPRO to expose, disrupt, discredit, or otherwise neutralize any group or person that the Bureau labeled as a threat. Targets included Martin Luther King Jr., the Black Panthers, anti-Vietnam War activists, the American Indian Movement, and some Klan chapters. Over 2,300 documented operations. More than 20,000 Americans investigated purely for their political beliefs. Most had broken no laws. The tactics? They were straight out of a spy novel. Forged letters to wives claiming their husbands were cheating, anonymous mailings designed to spark violence between Black Panther chapters and rival groups, fake news stories planted with friendly reporters, blackmail packages sent to Martin Luther King with secret recordings and a unalive note, agents posing as journalists or employers to get people fired. The memo literally said the goal was to prevent the rise of Black Messiah. In it, they named King, Malcolm X, and Stokely Carmichael as potentials. How did it all come out? The program stayed secret until 1971 when activists broke into the FBI office in Media, Pennsylvania. They stole the files and mailed them to newspapers. In 1975, the Senate created the Church Committee. They reviewed 110,000 documents and proved that the FBI had run a, quote, sophisticated vigilante operation against American citizens. Their work led directly to the FISA courts and the real first oversight on domestic spying. So who was Frank Church? The chairman of the committee was Idaho's own Senator Frank Church. Elected at age 32, he served until 1981. He was the last Democrat to represent Idaho in the Senate. He helped pass the Wilderness Act, the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act, and the Copper Church Amendment that helped end the Vietnam War. The largest wilderness area in the lower 48s, the Frank Church River of No Return Wilderness, is named after him. So what's the pattern in all of this? How does it still matter today? Here's the part that explains why millions of Americans no longer trust the intelligence communities. The people of the 1960s and the 1970s believed what they were told. Most had no idea the FBI was forging letters and planting smears. Only years later, when the files came out, did they learn they'd been lied to. That same pattern is repeating today. Just take, for example, the now famous line, "Very fine people on both sides," from Charlottesville in 2017. In the full transcript, President Trump explicitly condemned neo-Nazis and white nationalists, and was clearly talking about the debate over Confederate statues, yet millions still believe the shortened clip meant he called Nazis very fine people. A distorted narrative repeated endlessly by news outlets and politicians, even on the presidential debate stage. But the same distrust cycle played out even bigger after the Church Committee. The shocking revelation of COINTELPRO caused a massive public backlash, and a huge loss of trust in the intelligence agencies. Congress responded with the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act in 1978 to put strict oversight into place to avoid any appearance of repeating those abuses. The Justice Department built what became known as the Wall, rigid procedures that separated intelligence gathering from criminal investigations. By the late 1990s, that wall had become so high that FBI agents literally couldn't easily share critical threat information with the CIA and vice versa. Multiple investigators later testified that this bureaucratic barrier, a direct overcorrection from the COINTELPRO scandals, prevented dots from being connected on al-Qaeda operatives inside the U.S. The 9/11 Commission and congressional hearings highlighted how those restrictions were one of the structural causes that left America vulnerable on September 11, 2001. So the very loss of trust caused by past government lies and disinformation helped create the conditions for one of the worst intelligence failures in our history. COINTELPRO is a reminder that power without accountability can turn against its own citizens. Eternal vigilance really is the price of liberty. You have to do your own research. You have to search and find out what is true. You can't just trust that the people that you have listened to have actually told you the facts. Drop in the comments what other government programs should we cover next. Thank you so much for watching. This is a very new channel, only 7 days old at the time of this recording. If you made it this far, congratulations, you're my kind of people. You are who this channel is for. I'll be adding 2 channels in the near future, one for politics and news and one for product reviews. So keep your eyes open for that if you're interested. Secondly, I'm considering building a community for you to give feedback, ask questions, and promote topics for me to cover on this or any of the coming channels. If you've been watching Clear Signal, please take a moment and smash that like button. Hit the subscribe to be part of this fast-growing community. We would love to have you join us.
Clear signal. Like if you've seen the truth. Subscribe or stay in the dark.